Hello, everybody, and sorry I'm 2 minutes late, but the swirl of the holiday season and New Year's, everything that could go wrong did go wrong, but now I am here with you. I am present, and I am going to tell you all about the birth of the Food Coach Academy, which is 1 hour old. The Food Coach Academy is live, people, and I am thrilled and just so excited to tell you about it. The goal for today is for you to ask me any question that you want about the Food Coach Academy. And I'm going to go into what is in it for you. So, if you already know how to cook, why would you take another class that teaches cooking? Or if you're a dietitian and already know nutrition, why would you take the Food Coach Academy? So, I'm going to go into telling you exactly what is in it for you. But first and foremost, I want to wish you all a happy, happy new year. And I want to wish you abundance and health, a lot of tasty, tasty food this year. And most importantly, I hope that this year, what you do for work, your job, sets your soul on fire. And that's why I created this Food Coach Academy. So, what I want to go into is the Food Coach Academy can be done in less than a year. It can be done for as little as $156 a month. At the end of it, you've got a certificate in food coaching, and I'm going to tell you why that's going to be so important. So let me do some New Year's predictions for you. So when you look at the data, about a third of us are going to try and lose weight, a third of us are going to want to make a dietary change. But what's going to happen in 2024 in the world of food is going to be this. Basically, with the food is medicine movement, and if you've listened to another one of my talks, you'll remember that the Biden-Harris administration came out with this policy to end hunger, which I applaud. And what came out of that is this food is medicine movement. And in this food is medicine movement, what's happening is that there's a call for presentations, there's a call for how do we set up clinics, and NIH is looking to set up about 12 food is medicine clinics around the US, and they're going to need food coaches because what is missing in the world of healthcare and what is missing in the world of behavior change is skill building. I want to give you just a short snippet of a study that was published in October, and they looked at 142 African Americans who were at risk for chronic kidney disease. And the reason for that is because they have diabetes and cardiovascular disease. And so they broke them up into two groups. One received free fruits and vegetables for 6 months, and another received the fruits and vegetables, but a 90-minute cooking class 6 times. And what we saw was that in both the groups, you did see a decrease in the risk of chronic kidney disease, but in the one that you cook and you learn how to cook, it decreased another 31%. So what the food and medicine movement is going to slowly begin to acknowledge is that you really need culinary skill building within a food is medicine movement. And you can be one of those pioneers. So I see some questions right here, but I'm going to go into just a little bit more of the what's in it for you. So if you're a chef or a cook or a home cook and you're like, I got this, I know how to cook, what is it in it for me? There's a lot in it for you. So when the Food Coach Academy was built, I brought together 3 leaders, myself in culinary medicine. I have a background in the science of how to make behavioral change and how to teach. Rouxbe, #1 online cooking platform in the world, and a motivational interviewing team in Maine that brought together, and we created ourselves motivational interviewing training specifically for food. And you're not going to see that anywhere else. Also in this work, we have culinary competencies, which is not found anywhere else. So basically what that is if you need to eat your vegetables or your fruit, what is it you need to learn to do in the kitchen? And that's what you as a food coach will learn. So as a cook, you're going to learn how people taste. So you're going to start off with, are they a super taster? Are they not? And the reason that's so important for you to discover is as a chef, you want to decrease that bitter taste. And how do you do it? And what can you do with a super taster so that they begin to enjoy the bitter taste of food? What are the other factors involved in somebody who wants to change their diet? What are the influencers on what someone chooses to put in their mouth, right? You're going to learn all about that, things you know and you don't know. So, a lot of information about that. You're going to learn the modular approach to behavior change. Because just because you know how to cook doesn't mean you know how to teach cooking in an effective way with the client as the leader, right? That's the gold star right there. You bring all those together and then you have long-term success. So there's a lot that you as a cook will learn about the motivational interviewing, how people are doing, and we break it into food. So you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I don't want to be a nutritionist. I don't like those biochemical pathways and all that. You don't need to know that. I talk about food and nutrition in terms of food. So I'm going to say, all right, so fruit, how are people doing on the fruit intake? Not great, very bad. And who's doing well? And what are the inhibitors to that? And are there any fruit drug interactions? And how do I plan a menu around fruit? And how do I do that so someone is successful? So there's a lot to learn if you already know how to cook. As a nutritionist and a dietitian, you already know the nutrition. And as a PhD in nutrition, I know a lot about the biochemical pathways. But when it came to food, what to do with the food itself, that a lot of nutritionists and dietitians don't have the ability to do. I was a chef at a very young age, so I know what to do with it, but I want to teach you how to turn your nutrition advice into savory, delicious dishes for your client so that they can understand what it means when you tell them to eat more fruit. How can they make it tasty so they'll want to eat more fruit? It makes your job a whole lot easier. And in that experiment I talked about, do you know who they trained to go in there and teach those classes? Community healthcare workers. And so I can tell you, as an expert in value based medicine and healthcare, this is going to be a game changer for healthcare. And the reason I know this is because health coaches themselves have, I've been watching them over the last 30 years. They slowly started to be trained, and then there became a national training. And now I don't know what medicine would do without the health coaches. The same is going to happen with food coaching. So I'm hoping that Patrick can play a 1 minute video from Chef Russell Michelle. He was an executive chef at Canyon Ranch, Sheraton, Weston. So he was a big wig. And it didn't fulfill him anymore. And he thought about retiring. And let's listen to his words. Patrick, if you want to pull that up.
This whole culinary architect thing, the food coach came about when I had the downtime during COVID. Thought, okay, what am I going to do now? Because I don't want to be executive chef anymore. I wanted something that was, even though I enjoyed it, I wanted something that was more individual and connection and just helping others. So then I just researched and I took a health coach course. And it's greatly educated me, one, for my own health, and two, in helping others. And I have multiple clients and I have great success with the individually. Everything is curated. So in other words, like with a food coach, it's so exciting because you work individually with people and listen to what their needs are and listen to their habits and what they do and their triggers, all those things, food, body, mind, spirit. And then you deliver this incredible idea based upon what they shared with you of how they can get to where they want to go.
Isn't Chef Russell Michelle just the most awesome person on the planet? I am very glad I got to know him. Now, he took the long route around to becoming a food coach by becoming an executive chef and then taking a health coaching certification. Food Coach Academy is becoming a chef slash cook and a coach in one training. You can do this training, Lily, in less than a year, about 11 months. But if you do it full time, you could probably do it in 6 months. But I wouldn't want you to do it any less than that because practice, practice, practice. You need to be out there practicing not just the cooking part, but actually, I have developed with my team over 150 different resources and toolkits. So you would start with what appliances do they have in their kitchen? We've got a questionnaire for that. You might say to a client that you want them to broil something, but if they don't have an oven and they just have an air fryer, that's not going to work. So it will take about 11 months. There's 13 modules, 13 courses in this. The first two go pretty quickly, so about 11 months of time. The the cost of the program is $59.99, but we have a 25% deal right now, which brings it down to a little over $4,600. And there's financing plans available, and you could join with as little as $156 a month. So when I compared it, and I was really strategic in how I priced it so that it'd be lower than the health coaching programs that are out there, most of them, especially the really popular ones, because I want to get you out there becoming a food coach. And this is super important. Listen to this. So my ultimate goal is what I talk about, getting to the end of the road. If you're somebody who wants to become a food coach, but you don't have the money to become a food coach, go to a local not-for-profit, because I'm reaching out to not-for-profits to have them pay to certify food coach, to give people access to the Food Coach Academy so that they can come back into the communities that they serve and be able to change the health of their community. So that's another way that you could approach the price if that's a barrier for you. Um, so I hope that answers your question. I am looking at the questions right now. If it doesn't, I will definitely keep looking at the list. So Kathy, how will participants in the Food Coach Academy be advised on career opportunities? Yeah, definitely. We're going to have a very robust part of the program, which you have access to all these toolkits. There'll be some affiliate programs to make it easier for you. And the connections that I have and my team have, there'll definitely be opportunities, and we'll have whatever other programs usually have with like your alumni opportunities. So we would have a website that you can put in that you're looking for a job. We will collect jobs that are available out there so that you can take a look at. But we're going to support you from the beginning to way past the end. I'm here to guide you every step of the way. All right, Lily, how long does it take to complete the course? All right, we went into that. Kathy, again, I'm very excited by the concept of the Food Coach Academy. However, I was surprised of the price. Although you just mentioned that the cost would be $156 per month, is the total cost under $2,000? No, I went into how much the cost was. Yeah, I mean, that's actually less than what it would cost you to become a health coach. This is definitely a career change. It's something that people will add on to their existing careers, or they want to start a new career, especially after COVID, especially if you want to change the world for the better. And we all know the world needs changing for the better, right? If you want to help improve the health of individuals, and you want to improve the health of communities and the planet and our health choices, then the Food Coach Academy is a really great investment into that. What are you most excited about with the launch of the new course? So I am excited about creating a tribe of food coaches that are going to go out there and build teaching kitchens so that you can effectively change people struggling with cardiovascular disease. You can go into the elementary school and teach how to cook in their aftercare programs, because our kiddos aren't expected to live as long as we are. The food coaches are so needed in this world. I am so excited about bringing together these two parts of training with my focus on healthcare and where it is now and where it's going, and really creating pioneers in this skill building world of cooking. I am really, really excited about it. And I am a really good predictor in healthcare of what's going to work and not work in the future. So thank you, Dan, for that question. I'm a home cook and love to share that love with others. Been thinking of making a career change at age 50. What resources can you point me to structure a resume or a LinkedIn profile that reflects this? So Lisa, there's never, 50 is a perfect age to become a food coach. Absolutely. And to structure a resume, you're a food coach and you want to share that love with others. I don't know about that. I mean, you just start with where you're at and you build a social media campaign, and maybe visit the local library or your local school if you're talking about going out as you are without the training of the Food Coach Academy. Go to where people need you. Volunteer first, and then people will be like, oh my gosh, Leah, this is so great. You've got to take her cooking class. Or invite people over for cooking classes that are influencers in your community, and cook for them. And they'll, once you cook for them, you got them, right? Then they're going to say, oh, you got to go take Lisa's class. Is there a range we could expect for an annual salary for a food coach? Pam, that's an excellent, excellent question. I can answer that question based on my experience working in hospitals of what the health coach salary is. It really depends. So when I was at Dartmouth Hitchcock and I set up the Weight and Wellness Center, and I was looking at the salary range for the health coaches that were in the system, the nurses, a nurse slash health coach got they got a nurse's salary, so probably like $80,000. And then you had those that were certified health coaches that were nationally recognized, and they probably got about, I would say, like 60 grand. And then you had those that just went to a mom and pop organization and just slapped a health coach on, and they didn't have any higher education. So it really depends what else comes with what you're bringing. You can look online and see what the average reimbursement is for a health coach. But I will tell you where the financial opportunities are going to be is for you to get a job with these food is medicine places that are either going to be creating medically tailored meals, or there's going to be an opportunity for you to work with them. That's where the money's going to be right now. So you can make a good salary as a health coach. Slip of the tongue, as a food coach. And I know that because I've been watching how successful the health coach industry is. Is it possible to join the course at any time, or are you doing this in cohorts? Thank you, Kathy. You're asking fabulous questions today. There are 3 terms in this. So there's term 1, term 2, term 3, but you can start any point. So there aren't going through as cohorts. We have ways for students to talk amongst each other during the course and also on a Facebook page. And you can start at any time, any place, anywhere. So I hope to see you there. Doreen, how would I find clients once I've gone through the program? So again, that's similar to the salary. So by the time, all right, so I'm going to take a step back into my history of getting Reiki masters into Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center. It was way back in the day, right? And it was, these Reiki masters, I remember the HR calling and laughing and saying, do you even have to pay them, these Reiki people? And there was no job description for them. And because they were brand new, the same is going to happen with food coaches, but it's going to be an accelerated rate. What's going to happen is once food coaches hit the airwaves, right, then there's going to be a recognition of food coaches, hopefully a national recognition of food coaches. And then you find clients the way I'm just going to say you follow your heart. When we listen to Chef Michel, we find that he was going to retire, and then all of a sudden he just started cooking, and people came to him, and they come to others. When you have a passion in your heart and you really believe in what you're doing, the best referral is those that you've helped refer to you. But also, I'm imagining there's going to be job descriptions for these in the food is medicine movement, the culinary medicine movement that's been around a lot more than that. People will be looking now for culinary medicine experts that are now going to be termed food coaches. I hope that answered your question. All right, can you tell us what's going to be covered in each term of the Food Coach Academy, and when will they launch? So the first term is launched right now. It starts with orientation, and then the basics, everything from how does one fill up. So I'll give you an example: satiation and satiety. In order for you to feel full on lower calories, the longer the time your food stays in your mouth, the more satiated you'll be and you'll eat less calories. So that's just one example of a basic tip. We also have how to find reputable sources of information in nutrition research. Then we have the kitchens, and in the kitchens, you'll learn how to set up a kitchen for your clients, for yourself, and how you're going to create a teaching kitchen. And these teaching kitchens are popping up everywhere. You have them in food pantries, you have them on buses that go into the community. You're finding them everywhere now, and name it, you can set up a teaching kitchen there at doctor's office visits, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have taste and flavor, which is a game changer, and how to influence taste and flavor and how to identify someone's food palette. And then we start the 10 courses on a specific food. So fruits and vegetables are in term one. And then at the end of that, and you're your first client, you are making these changes as you go along, then you are able to get into term two once you finish term one. And what we have there are grains and sodium, vegetable sources of protein, and one other one that I'm blanking on right at the moment. Oh, fats and oils. There you go. And then the last one is about beverages and sugar and dairy and animal sources of protein. So I have studied for the last 15 years a scientific method that really works, which is a modular delivery system. And if you've listened to me before, you appreciate that telling someone to eat a healthy diet is asking them to do too many things at once. So as long as you break it up into each individual module, each individual course, it's the reason I'm teaching the course the way I am. And it's a way to show you how to teach others how to make behavioral changes, dietary changes in their lives as well. And then motivational interviewing, you're going to be doing practice all along the way. You are able to have access to a free class every week. It's offered almost every day of the week. So there's a lot of opportunity here. All right, Daniela. With the rise of artificial intelligence, do you foresee an impact on the food coaching space? Are you planning to integrate AI tools into your practice? Perhaps they could be beneficial. Well, Daniela, I don't know how to answer that question because I don't really know about AI. Like, I saw something on AI and it scared the bejeebies out of me. But artificial intelligence, well, we've written all of it. I wrote the whole thing with 40 experts from around the world and a dozen chefs. So there was no AI involved in that part of it. AI tools in your practice. I don't know. If anyone has any ideas, please put it in the chat. I'm sorry, I don't know. And I kind of hope not. How can you AI cooking? How can you AI cooking on my in my pan or tasting food? I don't know how that would be, but never say never. Lily, when you start the course, there is no deadline to finish it. You can take as long as you need to finish the course. I am a great believer in the science of you make one change at a time. You make that change solid, you celebrate that change, and then you move on to the next. So however long it takes you is how long it takes you. Kathy M., would you have examples of organizations that have employed food coaches that we could take a look at? Kathy M., my goodness, again, such good questions. I have lists of organizations that have hired health coaches, community healthcare workers, and things like that. When it comes to food coaches, Kathy, you'd be one of the first out there. So, but I actually am reaching out to workforce development in the States. We are going to be becoming a certified program for the WIOA funds, if you know what that is. And so organizations that I foresee having jobs are definitely employers that want to reduce the cost of the amount of healthcare expenses for their employees. So I'm in the space right now. I do consulting in an employer space. So employers, hospitals for sure, they have those community healthcare workers. Hospitals, anything to do with healthcare, you would be hired by them. I can answer that question because I can see where culinary medicine experts are working. They're working in private farms. They're working in after-school programs. They're working in hospitals. They're working in creating a teaching kitchen as a community health worker. Anywhere where some organization is trying to change the health of that individual is where you're going to see opportunities for employment as a food coach. Now I'm going to take an easy one. What is your favorite go-to weeknight meal? Dan, it's anything that is super easy, especially when I'm stressed. So usually I'll have I'm going to take a step back on this for a second. So in the Food Coach Academy, I'm not teaching you specific recipes because I don't believe those are diverse, equitable, and inclusive. What I am going to teach you to do so that you can teach your client how to cook with whatever they have in their fridge already. So I have these modules. That shouldn't be a surprise. So in order to build a grain bowl, I am going to choose whatever grains in my fridge, protein sources in my fridge, and greens and vegetables. So I have those formulas in my head all the time. So when I go to the refrigerator, I am not thinking so much of, oh, I want to try Jacques Pepin's new recipe on this. I'm thinking, oh, I want a grain bowl, or I want a stir fry, or I want a soup. And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, these are the ingredients, and I get to choose whatever I have in my fridge, and then I whip it together. So those are my really favorite go-to weeknight meals. And I pull together things that sometimes surprise myself and my kids. They're so delicious. And that's just how you build your repertoire of recipes. When you start, oops, something else, someone dropped off. Was there one? Oh, there was another one in there. All right, I don't even know what that is. All right, first of all, thanks for all you do. Will the program count towards CEs, health coaches, et cetera? Is that something you're looking into for the future? Sally, thank you so much for asking that question. The Food Coach Academy counts towards 510 continuing education hours for the American Culinary Foundation. And we are actively working on trying to create CEs for dietitians. That is a very hefty lift. It's very rigorous, and they changed the process. And so we are working on that. It's just going to probably take a year for us to be able to do that. And health coaches, yeah, sometimes, excuse me one sec. With health coaches and with others like nurses, and you can submit the hours, and then you can get continuing credits from the organization that oversees you. But we're definitely going to be creating other continuing credits as this Food Coach Academy grows up. So I want to thank you all, and I wish the best for you in 2024. May you love what you do and do what you love, and may not feel like work. Thank you.